Welcome back, everyone.
So much to unpack, but I think the main storylines that really jumped out at me, at least, were all the stuff swirling around Pedro Acosta and his future, and of course, Marc Marquez's incredible achievement.
Right, this is informal stuff, a YouTube chat, but still. Tons of little clues and hints about where things might be heading in the paddock. We got to break it all down. So where do we even begin with Acosta? Man, his talent is just undeniable, but that KTM. Can they really give him what he needs to actually challenge for a title?
Oh, that's the million-dollar question, right? What's interesting is that, say, Acosta's a rookie, still figuring things out, needs time to adapt. He straight up says the KTM isn't working. And it's not just Acosta. Look at Binder.
A veteran.
Exactly. A veteran struggling to get results.
So then you look at, even Valentino Rossi weighing in. Saying Acosta's got the goods after seeing him at the ranch. It's got to mean something, right? Getting that kind of nod from Rossi himself.
Yeah, totally. And it feeds right into Acosta's own ambitions, which come through pretty clearly in this conversation. He wants to win. He wants to be on a bike that can win. And let's be honest, right now, that bike is the Ducati.
And he basically says as much when he says modern MotoGP is just copy and paste of GT Dell'Inge's work at Ducati.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's some serious admiration and maybe a little bit of shade thrown at KTM.
Oh, for sure. KTM did not love... Yeah, they kind of warned him off it a bit. But anyway, it's a huge sign of where Acosta's head is at. Now, he's got 2 years on his KTM contract, but
there are always clauses, right?
Exactly. And KTM's history with young riders, let's just say they haven't always been the most flexible.
Think Remy Gardner, Raul Fernandez. Yeah, not exactly smooth sailing there.
Right. So there's this real tension building. Acosta wants results, KTM. Well, they're trying, they're working on the bike, but it's clear that there's a clock ticking for them. And get this, it says there's even talk that Acosta would ride for Ducati for free just to have a shot at winning.
Wow, that's a statement.
Totally. Now, we don't know how serious that is, but it definitely shows his mindset. And this frustration with the bike, it's not new. Mentions that Acosta was already aware of the KTM's limitations last year, so this isn't just a blip, it's a pattern.
And it's not like KTM's got unlimited resources to throw at this problem.
Exactly. Which is on their financial situation. It sounds like things were pretty delicate recently. It's definitely a factor.
And then you throw in the surprise performance of Honda in Argentina, closer to Ducati than KTM was.
Yeah, crazy, right? That throws another wrench in the works.
Yeah.
And then you've got Pablo Nieto from VR46 very openly saying Acosta is a very, very interesting prospect for them.
So the pieces are all in place for a major shakeup potentially.
For sure. And it really boils down to what Albert Valera, Acosta's manager, said. Acosta wants to be champion with KTM, but it all depends on KTM. It's their move.
Yeah, that quote really sums it up perfectly. Okay, let's switch gears to Marc Marquez because, wow, what a moment in Argentina. Matching Angel Nieto's 90 Grand Prix victories. That's legendary status.
Absolutely. And the way he paid tribute to Nieto, the laurel wreath, the Argentine flag with 12 plus 190, chill.
Having known him personally, worked alongside him, it adds such a layer of emotion to it all.
Yeah, for sure. And beyond the record itself, what's really striking is how happy Marquez seemed. Describes him as unusually happy, and I think it's a combination of finally being healthy and having a bike that can win again. He's back in his element.
It's great to see. And the dynamic with Alex, his brother, is awesome too. Those little moments in the press conference, the hugs, the playful slaps, you can tell how close they are.
Totally. And Alex himself feels like he's closer to Marc's pace now, which is a big step for him on the Ducati.
No team orders. Marc's racing to win no matter what.
Yep. Competitive spirit runs deep in that family. Realistically, Alex is a title contender this year.
Probably no one but Marc, right?
That's the feeling you get from the conversation. Describes Marquez's riding on the Ducati. It sounds like he's just so comfortable, in control, like night and day compared to those tough years on the Honda.
So 90 wins down, and the next targets are already in sight. Rossi's 115. And maybe even Agostini's 122.
Agostini's even said he appreciates the recognition from Marc. There's a real respect there, which is awesome to see.
Okay, but while Marc's flying high, not so much for Pecco Bagnaia, Tim is having a long face after Argentina. Clearly not happy with getting beaten by both Marquez brothers and Morbidelli.
Yeah, and it's not just the race result. He was struggling on Saturday, too, even having a hard time keeping Zarco on a Honda behind him. And while Bagnaia says he wasn't nervous...
how can you not feel the pressure with Marquez back at the front like that? It's almost like, back in the Rossi days, that psychological game he played with his rivals.
Totally. And Marquez's comments about having multiple ways to go the same pace as Bagnaia, That's got to get in your head a little bit.
Especially when you see some of your Ducati teammates celebrating while you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It highlights that tension within the team. Okay, let's jump to Moto2 for a minute, because this Ogura disqualification was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, using unapproved software in the ECU, even if it was a mistake, it's a serious breach of the rules.
Aprilia called it a blunder. Not intentional cheating, but still, those checks are there for a reason. You can't just have bikes running different software.
But it's interesting because despite the disqualification, Ogura actually rode really well, continued his good form from Thailand. So it's a tough break for him.
Definitely. Fermin Aldeguer, stepping up to Moto2, is having some growing pains, which is understandable. And Oliveira is still feeling the effects of that injury. He's pretty nervous after the incident.
And yet there's a bunch of Moto2 riders like Schroeder, Navarro, Canet, Alonso Lopez. They're all flying economy class. It's wild how different the levels of support can be in the paddock.
Yeah, puts things in perspective. Also, got to mention this guy, Jose Luis Martinez, Marquez's longtime sparring partner and assistant. He says Marquez is at his peak right now, which is a pretty scary thought for the competition.
Oh yeah, watch out. Also sounds like Honda might be shifting their focus a bit towards Romano Albiziano. Could be interesting to see where that goes.
And in Moto2, Les Schroeder's found something with that forward bike, suddenly way more competitive.
Oh yeah. He's actually quite close to Acosta, actually, and they're good friends, so that's an interesting dynamic too.
Huh. Okay, so big picture. Acosta's future is a huge question mark. Ducati's looking very tempting for him. KTM has to make some big moves. Marquez is back with a vengeance, already chasing down more records. And Bagnaia, man, the pressure's on.
Totally. So much to think about. If you were Acosta, what would you do? Stick with KTM, hoping they turn it around. Or take a gamble on Ducati, a chance to win, but maybe burning some bridges.
Love it. Thanks for joining us on the Can't Wait to Do It Again next time.